What's going on, everyone? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 25, where today we're checking out the finals for the SMX Playoffs DLC, now available for the game on consoles and PC. This is, of course, Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Strip racetrack, which will be the finals of the playoffs coming in 2 weeks. SMX starts this weekend in Charlotte, but of course that DLC was already available a few weeks ago, or about a month ago now, and then the St. Louis track was released also about 3 weeks ago as well. So now the full pack is available. You guys can play all 3 rounds of the SMX playoffs before the playoffs even start, which I think is kind of cool that they went with this route. I do still hope that they will update these tracks if there's any sort of like overarching changes to them. I don't expect there to be many changes, if at all, but if there are some changes, I hope that the Milestone crew will at least update them. So if you spent the money to get these packs, you got fully updated and complete tracks. So this DLC pack, you could get the 2025 track pass for $24.99, so basically $25, or you could get each of these individual SMX playoff tracks for $4.99, or basically $5 a piece. So this round costs $4.99, and St. Louis costs $4.99, and Charlotte costs $4.99. So altogether, you could either spend $15 or just go for the $25 pack and get yourself a lot of other features that come with the track pass and everything like that. I think that's kind of high for pricing for all this, in my opinion, but I know microtransactions rule the world these days, and that seems to be the way most games are going. So can't expect any other game company to really fall short of doing that. All right. That was weird, and the game just kind of glitched out on me right there, so that was a bit of a bummer. But yeah, so let's talk about this track. Obviously, the finals in Las Vegas last year kind of gave us a preview of how they're trying to build these tracks in the Las Vegas Strip, because it's a little bit different than the floor space that they have in Charlotte, for example, which is also a drag strip. And if you have no idea what a drag strip is, basically just a long 2-lane road that race cars race up and down. I mean, everyone should know what a drag strip is, but in case you don't. And as you can see, we're basically in one of the lanes right here, and then we're going to jump over to the other lane right here, and then on either side of these lanes are like a little bit of space basically for spectators to stand and stuff like that in a drag race event. But obviously for SMX, they use all of this space to actually have a track. So this track this year, I'll be honest, I am not a big fan of this layout. I'm also kind of just losing faith in general of drag strip racetracks for SMX. I don't think they're very good. I think they're kind of poorly made for racing. Like, I think that they could maybe do a little bit more in terms of track design and stuff like that, but overall, I don't think that these ever really produce very good racetracks. And that's just me being kind of pessimistic about it, because it is cool that they have so much of the space to work with, and they do actually go out here and have somewhat of a little proper moto track, some bumps and some sand sections, inside outside options. Like, they're trying, obviously, but I think that there could be a little bit more done. But either way, like, I don't really love this or the Charlotte drag strip. I think the coolest DLC part of this is the St. Louis one, just because we have like a really non-supercrossy style track in a supercross stadium, basically, because the Dome at America Center has hosted supercross before. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, definitely would check that one out. But this layout is kind of just really straightforward and boring. Like, there's not really there's like 2 kind of very short rhythm sections, but you don't even really rhythm through them. Like, they're just kind of on-offs, or I think there's one section that you jump an entire on-off over. But like, even this section back here, I'm surprised they didn't include a little bit more of like a true rhythm section. It's literally just a double across right here, and then here's the step on, step off option coming back into the first turn complex, which is again kind of boring. Rollers through here. They're trying to make it part motocross, part supercross. I get it. So you're not going to have the most elaborate racetrack, but this just feels really mundane and not a whole lot of flair to it. But obviously, because it's simple, it could create some great racing. SMX the last couple of years has had some interesting races because of how simple the tracks have been. But I would almost argue that the best race in terms of like an actual race, even though the track was bleh, was the Texas Motor Speedway race. And even Charlotte Motor Speedway the year before that. And those included a lot more supercrossy elements. So I think that they could even lean into that a little bit more. You have some of these separate, high-speed flat sections, but have a little bit more of the Supercross tracks. I think it'd be okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Layout-wise, this is okay. It could be better. I think they could do a couple more things, add a few more jumps, but it's pretty flat otherwise. And, yeah, not too fond of it. I'm interested to see how this one will race compared to last year's, because last year's was a little bit more Supercrossy than this. It had a little bit more rhythm racing to it with the rhythm sections and everything like that, whereas this year feels a lot more high speed and flat. And I would have to imagine that as wide and as big as these jumps are in the back straightaway, they're not going to be like that in real life. Like, I almost would guarantee that it's going to be very, very tight back here, because the real track even last year was really tight through those back sections. So I don't know. Kind of interesting to see where they chose to put the start this year as well, because last year it was right in the middle of the drag strip. For some reason, this year they're going like at the very tail end of the drag strip because it's right there. So I don't know why they're doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Year 3 of SMX. I don't know how people feel about it at this point. I'm still kind of meh on calling it like this super duper championship playoff thing for the series. It's just 3 fun races. I almost personally look at it more as like we get 3 Monster Energy Cups in a row, and at the end of it, someone wins $1 million. So cool, I guess, but I'm not like dying over this is the end all be all. This is about to be the biggest championship ever. But that's just my personal thoughts. Some people obviously think different. I think some people look at these as bigger picture championships because of the name associated with it and all those things as well. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? Always curious to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Interesting to see how well the AI is trained for this already. This is on hard difficulty. I'm not on realistic, but even on hard, it's not the easiest to just kind of keep with them. And my lap time isn't that bad. I see that the leaderboard lap time already is a 1:45 with the track just coming out basically this morning. So I'm sure that'll get lowered again, but like I'm in the 1:52s. You could say that's 7 seconds off the pace, but the leaderboard time is set by someone who's actually pretty good at the game. So I think that, you know, you should say like 1:48s, 1:47s would be what like the realistic AI time should be. And yeah, I mean, these guys are hovering in the 150s, low 150s. So seems pretty accurate, but again, they do feel pretty fast and challenging, at least for being on hard difficulty and not realistic. Curious to see if we can run any of these guys down and make a bit of a race of it here at the end. Let's spend the last couple minutes here just kind of talking about some expectations for SMX. Interestingly enough, I'm on to the rear fender of Jorge Prado right here, who just announced this morning he will not be racing SMX this year. He and the team mutually decided that they would not go to the races with him, even though he qualified in no problem. So he's guaranteed a spot if he were to show up, but I think Prado didn't really want to go, and the team doesn't really want to send him. So there you go. That's probably the end of him on a Kawasaki at this point. But yeah, I think that both of these championships, 250 and 450, are pretty straightforward. I don't expect much to be different than Jet winning and Hayden winning in 250s. I think that'll be even a cool storyline, set us up pretty well for obviously a fun dynamic of them racing next year, because in 2026 they will be racing SMX against each other. It's going to start in Pro Motocross, obviously, but and by the time we get to this point of the season in 2026, they will be on the same stretch of racetrack, so that'll be kind of cool. And by that point, I guess they'll both be 3-time reigning SMX champions. I just don't see how it goes any other way. Like, obviously, you want to see guys like Tomac and Sexton and Hunter Lawrence and Justin Cooper Webb, the Supercross champ, get up there, but Jet is on another planet right now in the 450 class. And then 250-wise, feels like even less competition than usual for Deegan. Joe Shimoda's been riding very well. Should do very well in this again. But like Tom Fial doesn't seem like he's really hitting the mark. He's obviously jumping teams next year to go back to MXGP on a Honda, so he's already maybe thinking about that. And Levi Kitchen has been so-so, even wasn't very good at the end of Pro Motocross until he got a podium at the final round. Garrett Marchbanks is good, but I don't really factor him to be a contender in this, especially because his starts will probably hinder him a lot in this championship. So I don't know how you bet against Deegs. You could make maybe a bit of a case to say Jet won't win this, but Jet's been amazing as well, so pretty tough to bet against that, in my opinion. But either way, this is going to be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. SMX in 2025. I think these tracks are at least decent enough to give us some good racing. Very curious to see what happens this weekend in Charlotte. Who's going to Charlotte this weekend? I will not be there. I will be in St. Louis, though, so hope to see anybody there in the Lou. And yeah, what are your guys' predictions? Always fun to get into the comment section below, chit chat about that. Let me know what you guys think. Also, another question for you guys, if you would like to head to the comment section. So this track, as I mentioned, $4.99, $5 basically. What would be a fair price for a DLC pack of SMX? I think a lot of people are probably just going to go, it should be included with the game, which I think is also a fair critique and something that could be considered. But if it has to be a DLC pack and it's going to cost some money for you guys to buy it, how much is a fair price for 3 of these tracks in Monster Energy Supercross 25? I think for me, about $2 a track is probably fair, maybe even less, because like even in the MX Bikes model, for example, that's how much usually tracks cost that are built by the official team that builds the tracks for that game. So I think like you could say that is even a bit of a catalyst to show off how much work and effort those guys put into it. And I would say that based on how much is available in terms of tool sets for the milestone guys, they probably put even less effort into a track like this than those people do. So I think $2 a pop is fair, but obviously they're just trying to maximize their profit as much as possible. So they're going to make as much money as they possibly can by charging as much money as they can for these tracks. I think $2 for a track is okay. And hey, maybe why don't you give it a discount? If they buy the whole pack, it's like $4.99, you know, so $4.99 for all 3 or $2 a track if you want an individual. I think that is probably the most fair. But again, I also totally understand most people would say, no, they shouldn't charge you at all. It should just be part of the game, especially when, you know, it's supposed to be the official Supercross game, and part of Supercross is qualifying for SMX. So I don't know. Hopefully someday we get a combo game. I don't know if we'll see that any time soon. Obviously, MX ATV Legends has Pro Motocross and Supercross, but I don't think they have plans to do SMX. I don't know. Maybe they do. And then even so, it's not like you have a career mode dedicated to it or something like that. You probably can, but you would have to just kind of make it yourself. It wouldn't be something that's part of the game. So one day we'll get there, but I don't know. So let me know your thoughts on a couple of things in the comment section below. What you guys think of this racetrack as a layout, how much you guys would be willing to pay for this track, and then who you think is going to win SMX in 2025. But this has been another update here on Monster Energy Supercross 25, the official video game. SMX packs are now complete. Get them while they're hot, and check out the new Las Vegas track available now. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. So long for now.